Tonight, late at night, you'll open the fridge. You're not actually hungry. But you'll look for something. Something sweet. Something fatty. Maybe both. You already know what's inside, but you look anyway. The cold light hits your face. You hold the door open. And then, you close it. Without taking anything. This feeling. Exactly this feeling. Is a 3-million-year-old program. Not one you wrote. Something living inside you. Something far older than you. Today I'm going to tell you what your ancestors actually ate. It might turn your stomach. You may not be ready. But you need to know this. Close the fridge. Now go back 3 million years. The African savanna. Burning hot. Bone dry. No shade. Your ancestor is standing there. Holding a stone. Not to cut bread. To break a bone. Because this morning, he had to wait for hours just to find lunch. A lion killed an antelope. The lions ate first. Then the hyenas came swarming over the skeleton. Your ancestor arrived last. All that was left were the thick thigh bones. And right there, inside those bones, was the thing that saved his life. Something no other creature could reach. Something no one else had noticed. Bone marrow. They always told us. Our ancestors were brave hunters. They chased mammoths with spears. They pursued big game. A great story. But wrong. For at least 2 million years, our ancestors weren't hunters, they were scavengers. They waited for hours around the carcass a lion left behind. They ate what other animals couldn't finish. Is that something to be ashamed of? No. That is intelligence itself. Because our ancestors had something no one else had. A hand that could grip a stone tight and break a bone. In the animal kingdom, that difference changed everything. Being able to hold a stone. Being able to break a bone. That's simple. That revolutionary. Here's the part most people never hear. Our ancestors' signature meal wasn't meat. It was bone marrow. Gray, dripping, raw fat. A lion can't crack a thick thigh bone. A hyena can try with its jaw, but usually fails. But our ancestors cracked that bone with old Owen stone tools. What came out? Something they scooped with their fingers and ate raw. For them, this was a feast. A sealed calorie vault no animal could reach. Protected. Waiting. And it wasn't just bones. Skulls too. A skull held roughly half a kilogram of pure fat. For our ancestors, a skull was a treasure chest filled with fat. Today your body still treats fat like treasure. That feeling never went away. But this is only the beginning. In South Africa, there's a place called Wonderwork Cave. Bird bones and ash deposits found inside tell us this. Our ancestors were making fire 1 million years ago. This is the oldest evidence of human fire ever found. And with fire, everything changed. Raw meat has to be digested for hours. The gut works incredibly hard to break it down. Cooked meat falls apart much more easily. The body extracts more calories while spending less energy. Scientists say our ancestors' intestines shrank over time. And all that freed up energy had to go somewhere. Wait a second. The gut shrank. Energy was freed up. Where did it go? The brain. Just 2% of body weight. But it burns 20% of daily calories. Think about that, the brain is the body's most expensive organ. The brain doesn't run on raw leaves and insects. Real food is needed. Cooked. Fatty. Dense. Read this again. Cooking gave our ancestors a brain. And the brain gave us language, society, art, everything. The kitchen isn't just a room. It's an evolutionary turning point. The day our ancestors learned to make fire. They took the greatest step in the journey of becoming human. 300,000 years ago, our ancestors looked a lot like you. And their menu had expanded enormously. Mammoth, bison, wild horse, reindeer. Fish, oysters, mussels from rivers and coastlines. Wild grains, berries, nuts, mushrooms from the land. Eggs stolen from nests. And above all of it, honey. The Hadza hunter-gatherer community in Tanzania still lives this way today. About 15% of their calories come from wild honey. They climb dangerous trees. They endure hundreds of bee stings. And they still don't give up. Because honey was nature's greatest reward. The stings hurt. But that pain meant weeks of energy. Our ancestors knew this calculation very well. And this is exactly where science steps in. That same craving lives in you today. Sugar. Your brain is wired for it. For hundreds of thousands of years, sugar gave you two things at once: instant energy you could use right now, and fat your body would store. That fat was the only thing keeping you alive in times of scarcity. A dripping honeycomb was the richest meal your ancestors ever laid eyes on. That program is still running in you today. Your body can't tell the difference between a supermarket shelf and a mammoth carcass. Soda, sugar, bread, processed food. All of it is hijacking that 3-million-year-old signal. That's why you can't stop. So this is what science is telling us. Every craving you have today was once necessary for survival. Fat, an energy reserve for times of scarcity. Salt, mineral balance, muscle function. Meat, dense protein, maximum calories with minimum effort. Honey and sugar, fast energy, instant storage. We call these weaknesses. But these are codes that worked for millions of years. Your body chose them not to destroy you, but to save you. Today those codes are running in the wrong environment. But who wrote the code? The savannah. And the savannah never updated you. Thousands of years of abundance weren't enough to rewrite it. Maybe they never will be. Think about a mammoth. A single kill could feed an entire tribe for weeks. Think about this. One kill eliminates hundreds of hours of berry picking and root digging. Where did that save time go? Raising children. Teaching skills. Making better tools. Telling stories around the fire. And here a cycle begins. A good hunt means more time. More time means a bigger brain. A bigger brain means a better hunt. Hunting wasn't just about food. It was the seed of civilization. The craving for meat you carry today is the last link in that long chain. But wait. Our ancestors ate far stranger things too. Insects, termites, grubs, white larvae the size of your thumb. They crunched like shrimp. These weren't a last resort. They were dinner. And one more thing, rotten meat. When an animal was killed, they couldn't eat it all at once. They buried it in caves. They stored it in cold streams. 4 days, 4 weeks. When they came back, the meat was maggot-ridden and reeking. They ate it anyway. Researchers think they may have even preferred it that way. Because rotting meat is already partly broken down. Easier to digest, and the bacteria produce B vitamins. Every fermented food you love today, cheese, yogurt, sourdough, beer, pickles, is controlled rot. That taste didn't develop in a French dairy. It developed on a savanna 100,000 years ago. But now there's something I need to ask. All of this is a story of abundance. What about scarcity? What happened when our ancestors went hungry for days, weeks, sometimes months? A winter that wouldn't end. A spring that never came. Prey that disappeared. What did people do under those conditions? You may not want to think about it. But we can't move past this question. Because the answer was written by history. Not on stone, on bone. And that answer was left behind in the depths of England. Inside a cold and dark cave. 14,700 years ago. Maybe no one meant to leave it. But the bones spoke. Bones always speak. And the bones inside that cave had a lot to say. In England, there is a cave called Gough's cave. Human bones dating back 14,700 years were found there. But these were no ordinary bones. The skulls had been meticulously cleaned with stone tools. Not just the flesh. Everything. The face and base had been carefully removed. What remained had been shaped along the edges. Like a bowl. A bowl made from a human skull. The long bones had been cracked open, just as our ancestors cracked antelope bones. To get to the marrow inside. This had been done to people. Human bones, processed like animal bones. Same technique. Same tools. Same intention. And it gets worse. This wasn't starvation. The remains of horses, deer, and other animals were found in the same cave. There was plenty of food. A 2017 study calculated the following. A human body provides roughly 125,000 calories. A bison provides 600,000. A mammoth, 3 million. Humans were not efficient food. This was a choice. And Gough's cave is not the only example. Similar remains have been found in Germany, France, Spain, and Croatia. Throughout history, across different parts of the world, humans did this to each other. Not always to survive. Because at some point, we decided this meant something. In one forearm bone found at Gough's cave. After the meat had been completely stripped away, a zigzag pattern had been carved. Someone ate, then sat down, and decorated the bone in their hands. Grumk refuses to picture this scene in his head. But he can say this. The thought of someone 14,700 years ago deciding, let me decorate this bone, is one of the strangest moments in human history. Art? Ritual? Grief? We don't know. But we know this. That curiosity, that search for meaning, that feeling of this matters. It's still in you today. To finish something and then decorate it, give it meaning, remember it. That doesn't separate you from them. It connects you to them. But in the middle of all this darkness, there was something different. Fire. Food. Together. Our ancestors didn't eat alone. They shared the hunt. They shared the bone. They gave the marrow to the children. Cooking wasn't just digestion. It was a ritual of coming together. Maybe there was no language. But there was sitting around a fire. Warming up. Eating. Sharing. And this detail seems small, but it isn't. This connection is what lies beneath the tradition of the dinner table, the family meal, sharing a coffee. Long before our ancestors spoke in words, they formed bonds over food. And maybe that's why, even today, the deepest conversations still happen at the table. But not everything was this warm. For hundreds of thousands of years, every human was hungry, cold, and exhausted. Hunger wasn't an abstract concept. It was real. Physically real. The vast majority of infant deaths were connected to it. The elderly couldn't survive the winter. A single drought could wipe out an entire tribe in one season. Tonight, when you go to the fridge at midnight, not because you're hungry, just looking for something. Think about this for a moment. That feeling is a 3-million-year-old voice. Eat while you can. Store it. Tomorrow is guaranteed to no one. Our ancestors never said these words. But they lived by them every single day. And so do you. Whether you realize it or not. And the most concrete proof that this program is still running? The Hadza community in Tanzania still eats the way our ancestors did. They climb dangerous trees for wild honeycomb. They hunt animals. They dig up wild roots. They eat seasonal fruits and insects. Scientists examined their gut microbiome. The result? Far more diverse bacterial species than modern humans. Far less diabetes, obesity, and gut disease. Our bodies are still searching for that diversity. And not finding it in supermarkets. Because we narrowed a menu that took thousands of years to build in just 30 years. And with that narrowing, we began to lose something. Our guts are complaining. Our ancestors listened. We haven't yet. Now imagine this. Take an ancestor from 50,000 years ago and bring them to your kitchen. Open the fridge. Cold sweet drinks sealed in metal cans. Bread someone else baked. Milk that stays fresh for weeks. Fruits from continents they never knew existed. Food they never had to chase. Never had to hunt. Never had to fight anyone for. What would they do? Stop. Freeze on the spot. Maybe cry. Maybe just reach out their hands. Because that kitchen would be the richest place they had ever walked into. And you go there every single day. Without a single thought. You've forgotten how miraculous that walk to the fridge really is. But your body hasn't. For 3 million years, every human was hungry. Was cold. Was exhausted. Never knew if there would be food tomorrow. Maybe you are the first person in history who doesn't have to think about that. But your body hasn't learned that yet. That late night opening of the fridge, that craving, that searching. Still the same program. Everything you eat. That fat, that sweetness, that meat. That fridge door closing at midnight. Is the final page of a millions of years long survival story. You're not just eating. You're remembering. And inside that remembering, there is a 3-million-year-old voice. If you know how to listen, you can still hear it.